Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? It's so easy with Anchor.
Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use.
And now, Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you can get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that's what we're doing right now by reading this ad. We struggled to find the right way to distribute our podcast, and Anchor made it quick, easy, and free. We're on platforms we had never heard of, and that's all thanks to Anchor doing the hard work.
So, if you have been thinking about starting your own podcast, head on over to anchor.fm/start. That's anchor.fm/start.
Welcome to Spilling the Mad Tea. My name's Stephanie, and today I am joined by my co-hosts Katie, Kelly, and Rachel. We all met a few years back while participating in the Disney College Program. This program is at the root of many of the stories we share, so we thought it was time to spill the tea on the DCP, or the Disney College Program. How's everybody doing? Kelly, what's up?
Nothing much. I worked on some paintings today. I worked on an order for a practical magic quote sign, and then I did a 3-color painting in which I blindly chose 3 colors to do a painting. So that's what I did. That's what's going on with me.
Very cool.
Yeah. So Katie, what's going on with you?
It's the busiest 6 weeks of the year at work for me, so I have been working nonstop. I'm a zookeeper, and so it's spring break. So everybody who's out of school wants to come to the zoo and have fun, which is awesome for us. We love to have guests, but we're also a small zoo, so it makes it crazy. But I'm hanging in there. I'm surviving. Rachel, what about you?
Everything's good. Just hanging in, working out, working at work, just enjoying my life, honest to goodness.
Aw. I love that.
That's the main thing. Yeah.
Stephanie, how are you?
Yeah, so this week was pretty good. I am a flight attendant, and I really try to get layovers in Orlando, but they're hard to come by because other people I work with also like going to Orlando. So I finally got a long layover, and it was great. I was working with this guy who used to work guest relations at Hollywood Studios. So he was like, well, if you want to go, let's go to the parks. So I went, and I bought an annual pass. And we went to Toy Story Land and saw that for the first time and got to ride Slinky Dog Dash, which was super cute. And then afterwards, I went to Disney Springs and met up with another one of our former roommates, Janetta. Shout out to Janetta. She's awesome. It was so good to see her. So it was like a really good day. Good week.
Yeah, I think you win.
I'm really jealous you got to see Janetta.
Yeah.
Same.
The 4 of us talk more often, but when I see her, it's like no time has passed. It's always really fun. And all of her friends that we went out to dinner with were so nice and welcoming. They had also all been former Disney employees and just really, really lovely people. It was a really nice day.
Sounds wonderful.
Yeah. I think we're all lucky to have been brought together by the Disney College Program. We've got a lot to say on the subject, so you guys ready to dive right in?
Let's do it.
All right.
Yeah.
For any of you listeners who do not know, the Disney College Program is an internship where college students have the opportunity to live, learn, and earn at Walt Disney World or the Disneyland resorts. You can live in college program housing, take Disney classes taught right on property, and work in the parks and resorts for a semester. When you're not working, you get unlimited free admission to the parks, which is the best perk and is totally awesome.
Yes.
Yes. Makes it utmost worth it.
Which is why many people do the college program.
Yeah.
So I think I first found out about the college program when I started listening to Disney podcasts. I was about 15 or 16 years old, and I heard a listener email in and mentioning the Disney College Program. And my first thought was, Disney has a college? Okay. How old do I have to be to apply? I need to go there. This sounds amazing. Do you guys remember how you first found out about the program?
Oh, my sister actually did the program before me. So when I was in middle school, she was in her, I think, sophomore year of college. So she had a really fun time. I got to come down and visit her. I got to see it firsthand young, and it was just counting down the days pretty much from that. Like, I knew I wanted to do it. As soon as I was eligible, I was applying, I was going. So, like, I kind of looked forward to that all throughout high school.
Rachel, how did you find out about the college program?
I found out from Katie because Katie and I are cousins. And she's like, hey, I'm doing this. You should do it. Let's go together. And I was like, okay.
It's not a hard sell in the first place. Like,
Heck
hey, you want to
no.
go work at Disney and be able to get in the parks anytime?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And it was like, what better thing to do than go down there with one of your favorite humans? Nothing better. Kelly, how did you find out about it?
So it was my sister as well. She told me about it, but she just like really encouraged me to apply for it and kind of helped me out along the way. And then she even helped me move down to Orlando for the start of my program. So thank you, Amy.
Why did you guys want to do the college program? For me, it was getting an introduction to the company. What was it for you?
I just wanted to get out of town, and I had only ever been a couple of times. Once when I was a kid, and then once when I graduated. I was like, okay, let's just see how this works out.
Kelly, what about you?
So I was about to graduate college. I was on like a 2-year program, and I really had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. So I figured I would try living away from my family for the first time ever and try to figure out what I wanted out of life. And that was the perfect opportunity. And living and working at Walt Disney World, I mean, what could be better? So I kind of just jumped at the opportunity to try something new.
Katie, how about you? I know you said you were kind of following in your sister's footsteps because she had done it.
Like I said, I always wanted to do it. It was never a question of whether or not I was going to do the program. I got through my freshman year and kind of came to a crossroads where I was on a career track and degree track for something that I didn't really want to do. It was something that was going to be a steady job, was going to make me money that my parents wanted me to do. I wasn't following my passion. And so I really just needed the time to get away and find out what I wanted and learn about myself. So the program was almost like a form of therapy for me. And I learned a lot about me, a lot about what I wanted. And
Yeah.
I mean, now here I am following my passion.
Go, girl.
Thanks, Disney.
Yeah, I remember applying for the fall of my sophomore year. And I figured if I was going to go down there for a semester, I might as well go down early and make some extra money over the summer, not have to look for a summer job. So I applied for the Fall Advantage program. And so for the listeners who don't know, the fall and spring programs run the length of a typical college semester, but the Fall Advantage and Spring Advantage programs also include the summer months. I thought fall would be fun to see like the changes for the holidays, be down there for Halloween and Christmas, which I think is the best time to be down at Disney.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I regret leaving Virginia Tech during like football season, which sounds silly, but I think a lot of the friendships grow at that college during football season. You're seeing all your friends on the weekends. And so I felt like I really missed out. I felt really behind when I came back in classes and in friendships. I also wish I would have had some more serious engineering classes under my belt for networking events. I really just had a year of freshman classes to bring with me. Did you guys give any thought to when you wanted to be down in Florida?
And here's all the thought I put into it. When can I apply? Fall? Sounds good. No, I like completely winged it. I was I got to the point where I was like, okay, I'm not gonna wait anymore. And when's the soonest I can apply? And at the time I applied, I was told that I had to complete a full year of college before I could apply. So I was like, all right, cool. So I'm gonna complete my year of college, go home for the summer, get everything packed up, ready to go, and I'm going for Fall Advantage, and I'll be I'll stay home for a month, get everything ready, and I'll be there in June.
Yeah, I didn't really plan too much either. Like, I applied a few months before graduating college. I was on a 2-year program for an associate's degree in graphic design, and I was kind of like the now or never kind of thing because I was graduating. And I think now you have up until a year after you graduate to do a program, but I didn't know that at the time. So if I wouldn't have gone when I went, I would have missed that opportunity. And I really just looked at what's the longest possible time I can stay down there and what's the soonest I can get down there, and that was participating in the Fall Advantage, which ran from June to the beginning of January. So, Rachel, what was your thoughts?
I had zero thoughts. Literally zero. It was like Katie said, "Hey, you want to go? I'm going this month." I was like, "All right, let's do it." And that was the thought.
That's my girl.
I remember being like worried about being away from home for like Thanksgiving and Christmas. It ended up being fine. Like my parents came down for Thanksgiving and I was able to get time off. And then Christmas, like everybody was working. So it felt like I had the Christmas day off and it felt weird because everybody else was at work.
Yeah.
How did you guys feel about being down there for those fall and winter holidays?
I didn't really mind that much. I mean, of course, like I missed my family and stuff, but I was in Disney World during the holidays, so that kind of like trumped everything else.
Yeah, helps ease the pain a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I was off Christmas Eve, so like I kind of just chilled out that day, and then I worked Christmas Day, which I was fine with because there were people that I worked with who had families, and I was like, if I can take the place of these people who actually have families down here, then yeah, of course I'm going to work on these holidays.
My mom, my sister, and I went down for Thanksgiving to Disney like the 3 or 4 years previous anyway, because my dad usually worked on Thanksgiving and it just wasn't like a big holiday for us. And we went to Marrakesh every year for Thanksgiving, and like that was our Thanksgiving dinner.
Huh.
So like they didn't come down for Thanksgiving that year, but it wasn't that big of a deal because I still went to Marrakesh. And the other college program guys that I worked with, some of us had off on one day and then they kind of gave the rest of us off the other so that we had an opportunity to celebrate. So we did like 2 different Cosmic Ray family dinners. So like I still had a Thanksgiving dinner experience. And Rachel and I, since we're cousins, like our family came down to see us at Christmas anyway. Like, and it didn't really matter because like you're around other families for Thanksgiving and you're helping them celebrate and helping them have a magical Thanksgiving and Christmas. So I enjoyed it. I wouldn't make a different decision based on the holidays.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't either.
Yeah, I think it's a good time to go down. I want us to talk about the roles we applied for a little bit. I remember basically checking off every option while applying. During an interview, I was asked to highlight 3 roles I was most interested in. I remember saying attractions, vacation planning, and concierge. I remember being really cocky, like, oh, I know so much about Disney. I would be a great vacation planner, a great concierge. I'll say those. Of course, that's not what I was accepted as. So, and I didn't get the attractions either. I thought attractions would be cool since I was studying engineering. It'll be great. So I was a little surprised to see an offer for main entrance operations, and I thought I would be working at the turnstiles or in the parking lots. Not really what I was looking for, but what if this is now or never? So I was like, I'll take it. I ended up working at Cirque du Soleil doing the box office and ushering, and it was awesome. Do you guys remember what roles you applied for?
I don't remember. I think I checked off everything, like you said. I was at the point of like, I get to live in Disney for 7 months, I'll do anything. I remember being interested in Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique because I was interested in makeup at the time, like SFX and beauty makeup. I was experimenting with those. But alas, earwax, and I was offered quick service food and beverage at the Mara at the Animal Kingdom Lodge. I was kind of bummed about it at first because I'd spent my entire life growing up and working in my mom's bakery. And I kind of wanted to get away from food service, and I also just really wanted to work in the Magic Kingdom. I had pictured myself in the Haunted Mansion cast member uniform so many times, and just to see like quick service food and beverage, I was like, oh, okay. And I was still holding out for like Cosmic Rays, like so I would be in Magic Kingdom, but I actually ended up being really happy with the location that I was given. Rachel, what roles did you apply for?
I don't remember exactly, but I do know one of them was the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. I think it was probably because my mom was a hairdresser, and I was like, okay, I can do that, whatever. It just seemed like it would be fun to help little girls become princesses for a day. But I think I did attractions as well, and I just thought that would be cool. Running rides and getting to see people just have so much fun. But they asked on the phone interview if I would be interested in quick service, and I was like, oh, God. Because I had already worked at McDonald's, and I was like, if this is anything like McDonald's, I'm going to be pissed. So I was like, okay, but I wanted to go so bad at that point, just to go. Like, I was like, okay, yeah, let's do it. I don't care. I think I probably would have accepted anything. And so I ended up getting the quick service role, and I ended up getting assigned to Sunshine Seasons. I ended up getting really lucky. But Katie, what did you apply for?
So I applied for everything. I really wanted attractions because to me, that's like the most magical part of a vacation. And that's what's going to stand out in especially kids' memories. And they're the cast members that I always remember the most. I didn't remember who gave me my burger at a quick service restaurant. I remembered the guy who loaded me onto Space Mountain or gave a spiel on a ride or something like that. So I was a little disappointed when I was offered quick service, but I was like, I'm going to take whatever I want. And it ended up being amazing. Like, I worked at Cosmic Rays. I absolutely loved it. Yeah.
I felt like I knew as much as I could before actually arriving down in Orlando. I remember I watched so many vlogs from former Disney College Program participants. I wanted to know everywhere I could possibly work in main entrance operations. I wanted to know how people liked working in those roles. I wanted to know how they liked living in the different apartment complexes, what they all looked like, if people liked living with like one versus 5 other roommates. Was it worth it to bring my car? I watched a lot of YouTube. Did you guys do anything to prepare for your arrival?
As usual, I did very little preparing. I was just winging it. I was like, what do I need to know? It's Disney. Like, I'll figure it out when I get there. There'll be signs. I'll be okay. So, Rachel made me join a Facebook group to help find roommates, and that's where we found Kelly and Janetta. Honestly, other than that, I was just like, okay, here's my date. This is where I have to be. All right, I'm good. If they need to tell me information, I'll get an email.
We are very different people.
Oh my God.
We are. I know.
Yeah.
We really are.
I think I was kind of the same way. I don't even know if I knew what a vlog or a podcast was at that time.
I did not.
Yeah. I joined the Facebook group, like Katie said, and I don't remember who reached out first or how we even like got connected, but started talking to Katie or Rachel first, got introduced to the other one because they were going to be roommates, of course, and then it just went from there. Yeah, they sent you that little welcome folder, and I was like, okay, all the information that I need is in this folder, but it all turned out to be fine.
I have a fun story about our first like messages together. I actually remember
What?
some of the things that we talked about. Rachel and I found Kelly first, and we had like a group message on Facebook. It was me, Kelly, and Rachel, and like we did not know what to talk about. We were like, yeah, so like, what's your favorite ride? And we were like, oh, like, what do we talk about? And then there were like tornadoes in Alabama.
Oh, yeah, in Tuscaloosa.
And yeah, and I latched onto that. I was like, perfect. She's from Alabama. And we started talking about tornadoes, and then like the conversation just trailed off from there, and we just started talking about the random weird shit and would send each other like links to like weird stuff and like pretty much what we do now.
So, like, what made you want to swipe right on Kelly?
That I don't remember. I don't know.
I couldn't tell you.
I think Rachel picked Kelly out.
Yeah, I can't remember which one of you I talked to first.
It was me.
It had to have been Rachel because I was not involved on the fit. Like I joined the Facebook and that was the extent of it. Like I never looked at it. I never talked
Oh, I
to
was
anybody.
chatting.
Yeah, Rachel was like, "Oh, what about this girl? What about this girl? What about this girl?"
I do remember I saw Rachel's profile picture, and like I was like creeping on you, and I went and like looked through your pictures and stuff, and I was like, she's really cute. Like I think I could be friends with her. Like I do remember that bit.
Hell yeah.
I wish we could go back and find those like first few messages. I don't know how to do that, or like if they're still even existing on the internet somewhere, but that would be
amazing.
I'm gonna make it my mission to find them.
Yeah.
Please do.
See what stupid stuff we talked about.
I want to know what like Katie and Rachel were saying to each other about.
I know. I wish I could find those. Those would be better.
I do remember like asking you guys like how long it takes you to get to Disney and if y'all were going to be driving, and you were like, oh, it takes us like 7 or 8 hours. And I was like, it takes me 7 or 8 hours. Where do you live? I was like, they're close. Like they're close by. Like they have to be somewhere close. Like where do these people live? Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, I remember I decided I wasn't going to find like a roommate on Facebook because I had done that with my freshman year roommate. And I felt like I had challenged fate, that I was like, I got this figured out. And I feel like I heard God laughing at me a lot my freshman year. So when I did the college program, I was like, I'm leaving it up to fate. It's up to fate, because then I can be mad at fate if I hate my roommates. Otherwise, I'm just going to be mad at myself for picking them. I'm from New Jersey, so I decided not to drive down, but I flew down the night before check-in, and we had to check in at the Vista Way Apartments. So I took a super shuttle shared van to the Holiday Inn right across the street so I could just walk over in the morning. I had 2 big duffel bags with me that I've carried across the street. Everyone would line up really early, which I had seen in a vlog. Got to get there early. So I got there super early. I was like maybe one of the first 10 people in line so that you could get first dibs on an apartment because it was first come, first serve. I wanted a 2-bedroom apartment in Chatham Square, mainly because it was like middle of the road. It wasn't the cheapest. It wasn't the most expensive. It wasn't the newest. It wasn't the oldest. I was like, well, it's in the middle. It'll be fine. It'll be medium. I'll be medium happy with it. So when they finally let the gates open to let us in, I was like, yeah, cool. I'm the first 10. I'm gonna get what I want. But because I had luggage, they were like, you with the bags this way. So I got out of line to drop my bags like under a tent, which was nice. So I wouldn't have to carry them through like an hour or 2 of paperwork. But I didn't get to get back into my place in line. I just merged in with everyone who had walked past me. So by that point, I was like a couple hundred people back.
That's pretty sucky.
Yeah. I was like, what kind of system is this, Disney? I have a fast pass. Like, what?
That is not efficient.
Yeah. So I was kind of bummed that I had like woken up so early and I was like, oh, I could have left my bags at the hotel and gotten them afterwards. Whatever. So by the time I got up to the like apartment people, they're like, where do you want to live? And I was like, Chatham, 2-bedroom. They're like, 3 bedrooms only, Vista Way or Patterson Court. And I was like, well, I watched a lot of vlogs and I heard a lot about this Vista Lay place. Like, that doesn't sound like me. So I'll go for the retirement home. I choose Patterson Court.
Yes.
A good choice.
From there, I remember being bussed right over, being like, okay, well, Patterson Court, here I come. And walking in the door and feeling like instantly overwhelmed because I think I was the last one to get there, probably because I was all the way at the back of the line. But the apartment was like filled with college girls and family members and luggage and waffle makers. And I just remember like Katie and Rachel being like, hi, we're cousins. And I was like, oh, great. Like, you two will always be like hanging out together. And then you're like, oh, yeah, we picked Kelly and Janetta. And I was like, great. So like the 4 of them wanted to be together. And like, they're like, we tried to get a 2-bedroom, but we couldn't. So,
oh my God, did we really say that to your face?
Yeah.
Hate us.
Man, we suck. We seriously suck.
I'm so sorry.
So I was like, great. Nobody wants me here. Perfect. Welcome to Disney. This is gonna be great.
Oh, God.
And then you guys were all like, okay, bye. Our parents are here. Like, we're gonna go like spend time with them. And I was like, okay, bye. And I think I just like sat in the apartment until I think we had like a apartment orientation later that day. But then I think like all y'all's families were still in town, so you would like hang out with them. So I don't think it was like until they left and we all went to Traditions and got our company IDs. And that evening I remember going to the Magic Kingdom with the girls in the apartment upstairs. And I remember all squeezing into like one tiny mine car of Snow White's Scary Adventures. And that was when I finally thought like, okay, this is fun. I could be friends with these girls. And look how that turned out.
It was such a great time. It's one of my favorite memories.
Yeah.
Gosh.
For me, that all feels like just yesterday. I remember it very, very clearly. Do you remember much from those first days?
So I just remember bits and pieces here and there. I know like the day before check-in, I drove in my truck down and my sister and her husband like followed behind me because my truck was also a piece of crap.
The truck.
Yeah. So the night before check-in, I went and actually like met Katie and Rachel in person at Downtown Disney because it was still Downtown Disney there in the World of Disney store in the Princess Room, which is also not there anymore. Sad day.
Tragic. They got rid of our Princess Room.
Yeah.
Hoes.
It was such an exciting time, but like I don't remember there being like an awkward time, like meeting Katie and Rachel at first. Like their whole family was there, and I was there with my sister and her husband. But like it never felt awkward, so that was really nice. And then like the next morning, I met up with Katie and Rachel at check-in at like 6 or 6:30. We were there pretty early, at Vista Way.
Mhm.
We were pretty close to the front of the line. I just remember being extremely anxious because that's how I am. I don't like standing in lines, like waiting to get into something. I hope I played it kind of cool with them, though, with like meeting them there, but I was freaking out on the inside.
Oh.
Yeah. And so we were able to get our 3-bedroom apartment at Patterson. We wanted the 2. I don't remember saying that to Stephanie's face. I don't even remember like actually meeting Stephanie. It was just like she was there and she was our friend. Like I don't remember that awkward first encounter.
The very first thing I remember about Stephanie is I remember seeing her in line when we were like waiting
Really?
at Vista Way, and and I was thinking like, well, she looks nice.
Shut up.
And then I also remember I'm a people watcher. I watch everybody. So like I remember I was like, oh yeah, I saw her in line. I was like, yeah, she looks nice.
So we were waiting in line. We got our apartment. I remember my sister took a picture of me and Rachel and Katie standing in line. Like I was holding my information folders and all that stuff. And for some reason, I thought it was a good idea to wear the T-shirt from the college that I went to. I was like, this is the college program. I have to represent my college that I went to for 2 years.
Aw.
So yeah, we have that picture. And then like we got to our apartment, and I remember like all 3 of us just running through the apartment and like jumping up and down and just being so excited that we were there, and like, this is my room, this is my room, this is my room, like picking our rooms like really quickly. I don't really remember what happened after that. I know that my sister and her husband left shortly after we checked into the apartment, and I kind of got settled and unpacked because I think I had some stuff in their vehicle too. So like I unpacked everything, and then they had a 7 or 8 hour drive back, so they left. And then I set up my room that day, I think, or at least I started to, and I like nearly took over the whole closet, and I was like, oh yeah, I have a roommate. But she, like, I hadn't heard from her or seen her. I didn't actually end up meeting her until later that night. I was like getting out of the shower, like walking out with a towel wrapped around me, and she was there, and I was like, oh, hello, I'm in a towel, but nice to meet you. And yeah, and then like I think we did traditions, and I won a little plastic Pluto with the traditions stamped on the little base, so got that. And then we went to the parks with our blue IDs and had a magical time. So Katie and Rachel, do y'all want to share your first day's experiences? Were they similar?
We was stuck up under each other's butts the whole time. That's fine.
We were. It's true. We like started as like a vacation.
Oh yeah, because we all stayed in the All Stars. Like we had a couple rooms, and all the fam was there, and it was like a lot of folks. Love you, fam. But I remember obviously meeting Kelly in the princess room that doesn't exist, and getting to Vista Way really early the next morning, hanging out. We wanted the Patterson stuff. We wanted. We didn't hate that we got a 3-bedroom, but we were like, okay.
Honestly, we were like, that's a lot of bitches in one apartment.
Yeah,
True that.
I'm pretty sure those exact same words came out of my sister's mouth. But
Because you're sharing one fridge with like 6 girls. I think that was like the most concerning thing.
Mm-hmm.
we made it work.
Totally.
We still have all those pictures. Those are some pictures we're gonna have to share.
Absolutely.
Because they gotta see it.
Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I think I had a friend who lived in a 4-bedroom.
Oh Jesus.
Oh wow.
Oh
Is that a
God.
thing?
That's horrific. It may be. That's horrific if it is.
I don't remember. Yeah, no thanks. I think our 6 girls in one apartment was
Yeah, I
enough.
thought it was perfect.
Anything you got to add, Katie?
So no, like that pretty much covers like my beginning days. The only thing I wanted to add was I don't know if this counts as like the first couple days at Disney, but I remember distinctly the first time like Steffi and I individually bonded.
Oh.
I worked at Cosmic Rays, so Magic Kingdom, as you know, stays open pretty late, especially in the summer, which is when our college program started. My shifts were all really late to begin with, so I'd be getting off at like 1, 2, 3, 4 a.m. sometimes. I remember one night coming home pretty late, and I don't know if you were still up or you had just gotten home too, because of course Cirque lets out a little bit later too. So Stephanie and I would get home around the same time, whereas like Kelly had to get up at the crack of dawn.
Yep. So early.
And Rachel was like a midday shift to like decent time at night. But like mine and Stephanie's shifts pretty much ended at the same time. So one of the first shifts that we had that ended around the same time, we sat on the couch and we're just like eating a quick dinner, and we're getting ready to like go to our separate bedrooms and go to bed. but instead we sat there and talked for like 3 hours, and we're like, we've got to go to sleep.
Story of our college program.
Oh my God.
It was the first time that we had done that. And I was like, if I can talk to this girl on an uncomfortable couch in this apartment for 3 hours about nothing and everything, we'll be fine.
Oh.
I know.
You gotta sit on the kitchen floor for that. That's the best spot.
Oh, yeah.
Kitchen floor is where the best talks happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved our apartment. We lived in 14102. And they took the rent right out of our paycheck. So, like, I never saw it. So it felt like I wasn't paying rent. And then they had buses that would take me to work. We had access to a pool that I never went to. That's a regret.
Never used
Not
it.
once. I don't know why. That was dumb.
Not once. We had other things to do.
Because like if we had free time, we were at the parks.
We were just such homebodies. We like loved spending time in our apartment together.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I loved our apartment so much. We were always like rearranging the furniture,
Mhm.
pulling our mattresses into the living room for sleepovers. Like we loved each other. I mean, we still love each other. We wanted to spend time with each other, and like sitting on the kitchen floor for chats at 5 o'clock in the morning. If I had to think of what my room of requirement is in Hogwarts, it would be 14102.
my
Like that would be my safe place that I would want to go. I have so many great, slightly fuzzy, kind of great memories. And I went to Vista Way once to meet up with some coworkers before we went to Not So Scary, and I was like, oh, I'm so happy with our choice of Patterson Court. It was just exactly what we needed.
It was so nice.
Yeah.
Coming back from like a long day of work, like it was nice to come back to a nice apartment.
We really made a home out of that apartment. I think even if we had been in Chatham or,
Yeah.
God forbid, Vista, I still probably would look back on it with just as much fondness
Right.
because like we made some great memories there.
Yeah.
True that.
Yeah, we approve of the retirement home.
Yes.
When we weren't just sitting in the apartment, I was taking a couple classes. Did you guys sign up for any of the Disney College Program classes?
I did not.
Nope.
I did, so I can talk about this. I took the creativity and innovation course because I am a creative person, and I figured that would be a cool course to take. I really liked the course and the teachers. She did like a really good job with teaching people how to think out of the box, which is it's not an easy thing to do, to teach somebody to think differently than they normally do, and how to think like an Imagineer. We had these little notebooks, and like any ideas that like popped into our head, we were supposed to write those down. So I still have my like notebook and sketchbook that I kept all my ideas and class projects in. And she was just very encouraging and knowledgeable on what Disney was looking for in its creative employees. So if you want to continue at the Disney company, and if like Imagineering is something you're interested in, definitely check out that creativity and innovation course if it's still offered. I would assume that it is because it's a good course. So look into that. It's a lot of fun, and it's not that long, and you can work your work schedule around the classes that you sign up for. So don't be afraid to take courses.
Yeah, I took a Disney Heritage class. I had listened to a lot of podcasts beforehand, read a couple books and lots of videos, so I felt like I knew most of what they were talking about. But the students who didn't have a lot of Disney knowledge really enjoyed it. I remember them just like raving about it. I also participated in the engineering professional development series. That was a good way to learn about all the different departments within the parks and resorts. And one of the best things about it was they also encouraged us to participate in this engineering with an EAR day where we went backstage at Hollywood Studios and took tours of Rock and Roller Coaster and Fantasmic. And that was really cool. There were cast members from all the different departments that you could network with. And there was also a written test. So you could show off your knowledge. This was basically like a audition for professional internships with engineering. So it was great for the seniors in that group who like knew all the answers to all those questions. I only had freshman year classes under my belt, so I could answer like the physics and chemistry and calculus questions. But I was sitting next to those seniors who had so much more knowledge. And so I felt really disadvantaged. Not to mention that I woke up that morning with diarrhea
Oh, God.
and was
It's not funny, but it is
just
funny.
trying not to shit my pants.
Oh,
So I was just
Bless your heart.
like walking around the back of like Rock and Roller Coaster and Phantasm, being like, "This is cool. Please don't poop. This is cool. Please don't poop. Nice to meet you. Please don't poop. Nice to meet you. Please don't poop." Like I couldn't focus on any of those questions on the test. I felt like I blew it. I blew it right out of my ass. Like it was such a cool day, but it was awful. And I was like, "This is the end of my Disney career." Yeah.
Oh my god. I did not know that story. It's kind of amazing.
That is amazing.
Welcome to Spilling the Mad Tea, where we all have anxiety and shit our pants.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I think I chose not to do any of the courses offered because I was at a time in my life where I didn't know what my next step was even going to be.
Yeah.
I needed to sit down and really figure it out for myself.
Right.
To sit back and step back and just enjoy being at Disney and having no other responsibility other than making magic every day was great. For me personally, that's not to say like don't go do the Disney courses. Go do them. If you want to do them and they look interesting, go do them.
Both valuable options. You just got to decide what's best for you.
Right. Like, I feel like I'd have been too worried about a class versus not worried enough about, like, Universal Tuesday or something like that.
I totally forgot about that.
It's like the best.
Yes.
I actually remember very distinctly we had a Universal Tuesday one Tuesday, and Stephanie, you had like an English paper due for something.
I remember you basically doing my paper for me.
You were like, I can't go. I have to finish this. And I was like, I got you. I'm an English major. Hand it over. I like did your entire essay so that you could come to Universal Tuesdays with me because that was what was important to me then. Like, I wanted to build those bonds and like have those experiences. And I was like, she is not going to stay home.
I think that was when we became best friends.
Yeah.
I was like, this girl's going to do my English paper for me? Yeah.
I remember, like, countless times still on Universal Tuesdays, I, like, forfeited my right to extend my program because I called out a lot for Universal Tuesdays.
Pro tip for anyone thinking about participating in the college program, we would recommend buying an annual pass for Universal because you get a Florida discount.
Mhm.
Oh, yes.
And if you want to call in to work to hang out with your roommates, well, you can't go to the Disney parks if you call out from work, but they have no idea if you go to Universal.
There you go.
We are not advocating for calling out when you're not sick.
Yeah. We do not endorse this, but it's a lot of fun.
Just don't do it every Tuesday. Just have Universal every couple Tuesdays. And why did we do Tuesday?
I'm pretty sure that it was literally one day we were all off and it was Tuesday and then we went every Tuesday.
I had a class on Tuesday, so I never was scheduled to work on Tuesdays.
Oh.
Okay. And sometimes I wasn't, but if I was, I didn't go.
So here's my thing. Look into the penalties for calling out. Look
Yep.
into how many times you can call out.
Yep.
And then make an educated decision because you are an adult. That's your decision.
Here's what you really need to do. Make friends with some of the people that are at your work location that are money hungry and give you shifts away when you don't want to work. And then you don't have to call out.
You just think, you want to work Tuesday, don't you?
That only works if you're at a larger location with a lot of cast members. It does not work if you're at a small location like
You're
I
right.
was.
Mine didn't have a lot of people either because most of my people at my place were servers. Originally, I was hired to do Sunshine Seasons, quick service. Well, I went to work on the first day, the tour of Epcot day, and you get this little paper, and I got this paper, and it was like up in the corner. It said Garden Grill, and I'm like, what is a Garden Grill? Because I sure as hell had Sunshine Seasons on my other paper. So I got up there, and I didn't know anything about this restaurant, and it's moving, and they needed extra help. So they were like, hey, you're going to work up here. And so I was thrilled as soon as I found out, like, Mickey, Pluto, Chip and Dale were there. And I was like, oh my God, the Disney gods have listened to my cries and this is perfect. It was really fun. I enjoyed my time so much. I started out as a seater and a greeter, and then I was actually promoted to general teller. I was just thriving. It was amazing. I would have done it forever and ever and ever.
But you had one too many Universal Tuesdays.
Universal Tuesdays. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it was really nice. I was able to work very closely with coordinators and managers, and I made some of the best of friends. I mean, I still talk to several of them, so it's really great. It was a wonderful place to work. Kelly, tell me about your job.
So I worked quick service food and beverage at the Mara in the Animal Kingdom Lodge. Because it was such a small location, I got to learn like every role that was offered there. Like Expo, which was pretty much being in charge of like the food line, calling out orders, getting orders together, and like sending them out. So I did Expo, food prep. So I had to learn the courses on like food handling and all that kind of stuff. Which the e-learning was not that fun to do for the food prep things. I remember like
E-learning.
yeah, I remember like nodding off and falling asleep a couple times and like shaking awake.
Yeah, it was
So
bad.
did that dining room, which was the worst. I hated dining room because I wasn't really doing anything besides wiping tables and sweeping things. Those shifts lasted really long, but luckily they were few and far between. Beverage Island, which kind of went with dining room, which was like your Coke fountains and making sure the lettuce and tomatoes and all that kind of stuff was stocked. Then there was Grab and Go, which was working in the cooler. So in the Mara, since it's at a resort location, it's kind of like their food court, but it's very small. So it has like these coolers with beverages and desserts and quick snacks you can grab. So you're basically put on this big winter coat and we're in the cooler all day, stocking stuff and filling up the soda when those got low, which I really like those shifts because I was in the cooler by myself for pretty much the entire day. And it was kind of cool to freak the kids out. It would be like reaching in to grab some zebra domes or something, and like you'd bend down and be like wave to them, and they're like, "Oh, there's a person in there!" Yeah, so that was kind of fun. I enjoyed being able to go into work every single day and do something differently. I really enjoyed my locations. That was fun. One morning, I was working Expo, and in the morning, the Mara is busy because people are coming in to get their breakfast to go to the park. So I just keep my head down. I was putting orders together, filling orders, and then my manager walks over and he just like starts explaining every item of food to this person, and I'm like, "Dude, you're like throwing off my groove here. What's going on?" And I look up and I'm like, "Oh, that makes sense." And it was Neil Patrick Harris, and I served him some breakfast.
Nice.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So, Katie, what was your role? And explain it.
Do it, okay?
So I worked quick service food and beverage. I ended up at Cosmic Rays, which is a quick service restaurant in Tomorrowland at the Magic Kingdom. It is the largest quick service restaurant on property. I believe it's the largest restaurant on property, or at least it was at the time that we worked there, which was in 2011. Super fast paced. There was always something going on. So I learned really quickly to figure things out, which I always struggled with. Oh, what am I supposed to do now? I got really bad anxiety about not knowing what I was supposed to be doing next. It taught me a lot. I learned so much from working in that environment. There was a lot of CPs there. It was a bunch of people my age, like from all over the world. We always called it like our own mini Epcot because they would send a lot of international students there. They accept a lot more international students than they put in the Epcot countries. So we would have some kids from Morocco. We had some Australian kids. We had people from everywhere. So I loved everything about it, and I never would have believed that I would have loved working at Tomorrowland, which is my least favorite land in Magic Kingdom. It was more than I could have asked for. And I got to listen to Sunny Eclipse all day, every day.
I mean, okay.
You hate it at first, and then you learn to love it, and then you hear it in your sleep, and then you're just like a weird cult of college program students who can't stop singing Sunny Eclipse. But it's great!
I think it's really cool that you worked in a location with so many other college program students.
Mhm.
Kelly, I don't think you had that many. Rachel, you didn't have that many. I had a handful.
Yeah, I got a big like college program experience, which was good for me because again, like that's what I needed at the time. I needed to like be around people who were also trying to figure their shit out,
Right.
and I needed that. Everything about my experience was it's what I needed.
You brought us so many friends.
I did. I know. I was like, I met these people at work. And you guys were like, cool. Here's my one work friend that's a college program student.
Yeah.
I'd be like, okay, well, I'm gonna bring 12 people over. Is that okay?
I had one. I had Amy. Do you remember Amy?
I do remember Amy.
Yeah.
But she worked more downstairs than upstairs. You had Kubalay. And then Stephanie had JJ.
Yeah.
Yeah, we met at casting because we were the only two people there who said main entrance operations in downtown Disney, and nobody in the casting building knew what that was. We were like, there's no turnstiles at downtown Disney. Where are we going?
Oh no.
So we didn't know until we got to downtown Disney for our orientation. They were like, oh, you're going to be at Cirque du Soleil. We were like, oh, okay. I don't even think I knew there was a Cirque du Soleil there. I think I was trained in the box office and he was trained as an usher. And then maybe like halfway through our programs, we switched so that we were trained in everything. But it was amazing getting to watch that show 2 times a night. These performers achieve perfection night after night, show after show. It was really inspiring. The thing I'm most grateful about my time at Lanuba is that I learned so much from my manager, Jonathan, who I can easily say was the best boss I have ever had. We immediately bonded because we were both Virginia Tech alumni, but his leadership style was just Disney perfection. He made an effort to get to know everyone on his team. He wanted to know like who you were, what you were passionate about, and he was always jumping in to work beside you, not over you, which I really respected as a leader. He led through like teamwork and positive reinforcement, setting high expectations, but always maintaining a playful attitude. And I can still hear him saying, walk the guests to the bathroom. That line was basically how we closed out every staff meeting. So I walked a guest to the bathroom one day. He saw me and was like, Stephanie, is everything okay? Where are you going? And I'm like, yeah, I'm walking to this guest to the bathroom. And he's like, you know, it's just a metaphor, right? Like about like going above and beyond for the guests. Like, sure, you can show them where it is, like, or you can walk them there. I'm like, yeah, but I mean, I wasn't doing anything, so I figured I'd walk him over here. And he's like, okay, and just started laughing the rest of his walk. I think it was about a year later that I did a engineering internship for another company. I realized how much I missed that customer experience and working with people day in and day out. I had developed a real passion for customer service, and so I jumped ship to pursue that instead. I think working at Disney taught me how like small actions can really make someone's day. I'm sure we all had experiences like that on our college program.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I think I've been chasing that high. I don't know if there's a better feeling than that, knowing that like you turn someone's day around or you're going to be in that memory. Like you remember that cast member who put you on Space Mountain. You might not remember the one who gave you a burger, but you do remember certain people, or even if you don't, if you made their day better, I think that's a job well done. So after college, I worked at Six Flags Great Adventure in New Jersey. I applied for a job in guest relations and was told during and after my interview that they were thrilled to see Disney experience on my resume. To them, it meant that they didn't have to train me on customer service, that I already had some of the best training that I could. And I heard the same thing when I applied for the airline that I currently work for. I take a lot of pride in coworkers telling me that I'm a pleasure to work with or they're impressed with how hard I work, and I can 100% attribute that and the employee that I am to my time at Disney. How would you guys say that your time at the Disney College Program has impacted you and your career?
Well, I still work a lot with guests because I work as a zookeeper. My primary job is to take care of my animals, but I also need to make sure that the experience is good for guests because without guests, zoos can't operate. We can't take care of animals and we can't do the work that we do for conservation. So our job is to make sure that the guests have an awesome experience and make a connection with these animals, because what people learn about and know about and see is what people care about. So I do keeper talks. Even just like walking around doing my regular job, I get stopped for questions. And I think a lot of the coworkers that I work with now, their mindset is like, I'm here to take care of my animals. Like, I'll answer your question and move on. And I've got that Disney training where I'm like, let me take this opportunity to make this experience more special,
Right.
to make this bit of magic for you. And I would never have gotten that had I not worked for Disney. And it teaches you your role is what you make it to be.
Yeah.
I can't even put a price on what I've learned at Disney.
Yeah, your attitude really defined your whole experience down there. And I think working at Disney kind of ingrained, like Stephanie and Katie said, that excellent sense of customer service. And I run my own business now doing art. So taking that from Disney and applying it to my own business, I think, is what will keep it afloat in the long run. I haven't had too many customer service issues, luckily. I think one time one of the signs that I made, the staining turned out weird and I didn't catch it before I left, but I knew immediately not to kind of argue with basically the guest, the customer. I made a new one and I sent it right out. That's just what you do if you want your business to last. You just have to kind of put the customers first. And sometimes that's definitely not easy because the customer is not always correct.
Right.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah. I think having that sense of being able to judge what to do best and how to come out on top of any situation is something that I learned at Disney and something that I won't even forget. It definitely showed me that I love making people happy, and I do that with the art that I create, I hope. So
Oh, you do. You do.
without Disney, I don't think I would even have my own business or even have attempted to do half the stuff that I've done. So, yeah. What about you, Rachel?
People in pharmacy are a whole different breed. Sometimes I lose the things that I learned at Disney because
You've lost your pixie dust.
yeah, sometimes like these people, they will stomp on your pixie dust and bury it in the dirt. Like,
Oh my God.
I mean, it is awful sometimes, but like, I mean, I like the job, so like that's what I think that matters. I mean, if I can help somebody, I will, but it's a little different. I mean, there's a lot of older people and they want to come in, they want to get their medicine, and they want to be like gone. I've just gotten to the point where I try to get them in and get them out as fast as possible.
But even that, like, that's efficiency.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's one of the 4 keys, right?
Yeah.
So Disney's efficiency has helped you.
All right. Well, that's fine. We'll go with that.
So important.
Yeah, so I think we all agree that we could talk about the Disney College Program forever. It was, 7, 8 years ago, but clearly is still very fresh in our minds. I think we've covered a pretty comprehensive introduction here. I'm sure more college program stories will seep out throughout our future episodes.
Oh, yes.
So, do you guys think we should wrap up this episode? Maybe do one last question?
Let's have our final sip.
Ready? What is your biggest regret from your time on the college program?
My regret, I would say, you can never spend enough time with people. Like, spend more time with people that really, truly matter, and spend as much time at the parks as possible because it ain't always going to be free. Do other things too. Don't limit yourself. Just do it all.
Kelly?
I just have one slight regret. I wish I would have known more about the Disney history and cared about it as much as I do now, because I feel like I would have been able to study more details in the parks and pay attention to everything that I hold so dear now that I know most of the history and all of that in the parks. I think I would have not enjoyed it more, but just like known more. And of course, like Rachel said, and probably like everybody else is going to say, spent more time in the parks. So
How about you, Katie?
One of my biggest regrets, specific to the college program, is not going to the events that the college program organized.
Yeah.
They do some kick-ass events. The only one I ever ended up going to was the graduation at the end of my program,
Yep.
and it was awesome, and I was pissed that I didn't go to the other events.
Yeah, we missed out on a lot of free food.
Yeah, go to the events. They spend money on them. This is a Disney catered event. Like, go. Enjoy
Yeah.
it. If you've got anxiety about it, find a buddy. Take a buddy.
Yeah,
enjoy
there are
the
lots of
events.
people there by themselves. Just go eat. Go for the food.
Yeah, I have nothing else. It's free food. We know y'all poor.
Yeah, I think my biggest regret is definitely not going to the parks enough. There were so many days we just sat on the couch in our air conditioning instead of like out in the Florida sunshine. But also, I really wish I would have done a cruise while I got the cast member discount.
We should have done a cruise.
I think it's like my biggest regret because I can't afford one of those cruises. But they were like, it was like $65 a day, $45 a day. I could have afforded it then.
Well, one day when I'm an animal keeper at Animal Kingdom, we'll go on a cruise with the Disney.
I'm gonna hold you to that. I've got it recorded.
It's on my what's it called? My dream board.
Perfect. Well, other than that, I'm really thankful for my participation in the Disney College Program. It taught me a lot about the kind of employee I want to be. It helped me discover my passions. Most importantly, it brought me my best friends. Love you guys.
Love you.
But I'm really curious if we have any Disney College Program alumni listeners. Did you meet your best friends and decide to make a podcast years later? Or are you just considering applying for the college program? Get in touch with us. We we really love to talk about this stuff.
Oh,
our
yes,
bread and butter.
Lord.
You won't be able to get us to shut up about it. So, I mean, it's really, really hard to end this podcast right now. We have so many other stories that we could add.
Yeah.
But if you have something specific you'd like to know about, you can email us at spillingthemadtea@gmail.com.
You can also send us a tweet at spillingmadtea.
And you never know what kind of throwback pictures we're going to post on Instagram. So follow us at Spilling the Mad Tea.
Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Spilling the Mad Tea. Ta-ta for now.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.